ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Ask The Culpeppers. We're not licensed counselors. We're just a loving couple trying to strive to love on each other, raise our family, and answer questions from viewers like you from all over the world.
I hear we've got some good news, some exciting news to share.
Yes, we do. We were informed by our sponsor at the Baby Spot Global Parenting Digital Parenting Magazine that the show is growing.
It's a hit.
Well, we're moving on now to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby. There ain't nothing wrong with that. We're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie.
So, if you can actually get the jump on this, if you go to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, type in Ask The Culpeppers, and you can go ahead and get a jump on subscribing to our website, to our sites, not our websites, but to our sites. And so we're going to begin migrating all of our past shows over to the new platforms here in just a few days. Actually, we're going to do that so we can start our next episode on its own platform. So be sure to share. Along with that, we're going to start doing some product reviews. We're going to start doing some giveaways, some mini question answer sessions to fit within the guidelines of Instagram and Twitter with their video guidelines, so that we can reach multiple audiences that like those particular platforms. And so we're certainly excited about that.
It is, and I want to go ahead and get into the question. So now that we've made our big announcement, we're going to go ahead and delve in, because we do actually have a question today.
All right, what we got
Which
today?
I'm holding. And so here is the question.
Let's see what we got.
Dear #Ask The Culpeppers, I don't know what to do. My husband has been on his phone a lot lately, and I found it very suspicious. After weeks of this, I checked his phone and found he had a dating app downloaded. He's been chatting with various women. It's flirty, but not sexual. How do I approach him? I feel so betrayed.
That's a tough one.
It's very tricky. It's very tricky. And again, let's just start by saying, not licensed counselors, just our opinion in this matter. And we do know, just from working with and talking to family and friends,
Right.
This is a pretty common thing. And if you've watched the news recently, there have been a couple of pretty significant scandals about some of these dating apps and some pretty prominent figures that have engaged in this type of behavior. And so I would say first thing is have an honest conversation.
Yeah.
And our hearts go out to you, and certainly your feelings of feeling betrayed and hurt and certainly unappreciated are completely understandable. I think anyone in that position would feel that way, and those feelings are absolutely justified. But I do think this is one of those things that's going to require a very tough conversation that the two of you have face to face, knee to knee, in a real way.
You know, so as a man thinking, so is he. You know, so if he's on that out flirting, it's just a matter of time before I think his mind tries to manifest what he's thinking.
Oh, we would hope.
I would hope not.
We would hope.
But if he, but if a person is flirting on an app and then their mind is kind of already going there, So I would say with this particular fella, it's kind of like the onset. It's kind of like it could be like a gateway to something.
It could be, but
something else, but
yeah. But if she's saying it's not sexual, then it could be
flirting with various women,
right. But what it could make very well be is, like you said, this is like a preliminary or early stages of him looking for and seeking for something,
some attention, or something,
and it could be attention. And one of the things that we know about people who oftentimes engage in extramarital affairs is it really oftentimes doesn't have anything to do with the spouse. It has to do with something that they're seeking and looking for, which is why talking through it is so important.
Yeah, that's right. And he might, that's right. An honest conversation, bringing it to the table, and just asking him, what's going on.
Yeah, and this is also one of those things that sometimes you also have to get critical friends who can be receptive and supportive to also be involved, or that counselor that you do trust to sit down, if you guys have a marriage counselor that you've used before. But this is one of those conversations that does have the potential to be very tricky, because clearly you have hardcore evidence to show that what is happening, but going from it is really having a conversation and really addressing the issue, because we know ultimately your hope is that this behavior stops,
ceases,
and immediately ceases. And so sometimes by having those conversations, what happens is the behavior then goes deeper underground and it makes it harder to see. And so definitely having a conversation about it in a safe and appropriate way is going to be what I would advise.
Yeah, and I was thinking also for all the men that'll be watching this, you don't need no dating app on your phone.
Or women either, for that matter.
Yeah,
now, it's not just
you don't need to
men.
be subscribed to no dating website.
Sure.
No
unless
dating
you are
literature.
unless you are single and available to date, right?
Right, dating apps and those kind of things. Because it just looks suspicious in my opinion.
Sure, I think
so. Those are some apps that you really need to stay away from. I would stay away from even on Facebook and subscribing to different dating websites or groups and things like that.
Yeah.
I avoid them at all costs. Don't even take part in them.
Sure.
Because it just don't look good in my opinion.
And I think it doesn't feel good, right? And so really kind of thinking about how would he feel if you were engaged in that type of behavior, right? And so I think that's another thing. Even if we have viewers who are watching who may be themselves engaging in that type of behavior, like put that shoe on the other foot. How would you feel if this person that you love was engaging that behavior? What would that do to your heart and to your mind and soul? And so oftentimes I think we're so busy in our own feelings and in our own experience that we don't take a moment to think about how this is impacting the family and this person who has committed themselves to be with us. And so getting out of this mode of selfishness is critical for all of us. I think so.
And I think this is a very serious matter.
Definitely.
But it can be resolved though if it's
Sure.
addressed in the early stages and bring it to the forefront now, and then that way an honest conversation can take place and healing can proceed after that honest conversation, and your marriage can go on and be healthy. And this is just one foothold or potential trap that you can spring now, and everybody will be safe and you can go on with your marriage. That's what I think.
So thank you so very much, though, for submitting your question. And of course, our thoughts are going to be with you as you guys work through this. Please don't hesitate to follow back up. I'd be anxious to see how things go once you've had an opportunity to, again, find your local marriage counselor that you believe and you trust, or a pastor, or really just accountability partners and friends that can work this out with you all. And just know our thoughts are with you. Again, we're always anxious and eager to get questions. And so we're going to have all the information up during this episode where you can submit future questions and your thoughts on various matters as well. But just remember, we're a married couple, just like many of you, seeking to be stronger together than we are apart, and to raise great healthy kids. And it is work. It definitely is work. It's not easy. But together, I think we can help make it a little easier for one another.
That's right. And thank you for your question. Be sure to follow us on our new social media pages that will be kicking off next week. And so that way we can continue and hopefully be able to help somebody and also help ourselves as we answer these questions, because we got to live what this song we sang about, and we got to practice what we preach to. So we certainly appreciate it. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.